What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel, and tonight I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for NXT Halloween Havoc. Now, this is actually the first premium live event since Worlds Collide, which honestly I'm actually excited for. I am actually excited for Halloween Havoc, but I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are for a second, I thought that was a bump on my head. Anyway, you guys are wondering, wait a minute, Nash, didn't you just do a video this morning? I did, but some things came up, and I have to take care of some business tomorrow. So yeah. So we will, but don't worry, guys. We will be returning to our regularly scheduled daily filming on Thursday, which. We got some interesting news for you guys on the WWE spectrum, if you will. But with that being said, let's get straight into it. Kicking these off, we have Grayson Waller versus Apollo Crews. Spin the wheel, make the deal. This is basically a type of match where they spin the wheel, whatever lands on, that's the stipulation. I'm very curious as to how this will play out, because this is Apollo Crews' first premium live event in NXT since he came back to NXT a little over a month and a half ago. And honestly, I'm very curious about this, because Apollo Crews has only had a small handful of matches since coming back to NXT. And honestly, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Crews. I really am. But the fact that Crews has not been on a stage this high proves that in my opinion, he's got nothing left to prove. But let's not get it twisted here, guys, because we know he's a former United States champion, and he's a former Intercontinental champion as well. He's had quite a bit of success on the main roster across both Raw and SmackDown. But you guys know his first run in NXT didn't go so well. Yes, he had quite the impressive, win-loss record, but that was it. That was all he was known for during his first run in NXT. And not only that, apparently he wants gold in NXT to complete his career. So it comes down to who wants this match more. Is it Grayson Waller or Apollo Crews? But truth be told, it comes down to experience. Who has more experience in the ring? Who has more years under the belt? And it's got to be Apollo Crews. But you cannot take away from what Grayson Waller has done since he got to WWE last, right around the middle of last year, when he was a part of the. I guess the remnants of the original black and gold brand that was NXT. But honestly, I can't really predict who wins this one, because their last encounter, Grayson Waller cheated to win. I think in this matchup, turnabout's fair play. I think Apollo Crews might be able to pick it up, but who knows? Who knows what this will or rather how this match will play out, because we don't know what the stipulation is going to be. All we know is that it's going to be spin the wheel, make the deal. And with both Shotzi and Quincy Elliot co-hosting Halloween Havoc this Saturday, which, if you guys watched NXT earlier tonight, you guys already know. But for those who did not watch, yes, Shotzi will be the guest host. Will be hosting Halloween Havoc, as will Quincy Elliot. And you guys wondering how? You'll have to watch NXT and find out. But honestly, I mean, come on. I mean, tonight's NXT, getting the chances to have the Judgment Day, Shinsuke Nakamura, the OCs, Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers, Raquel I mentioned, Shotzi, you know, Kevin Owens as well, and even also, I can't even think. I cannot think straight, honestly. Guys, I apologize. You know, you know, just having them back in NXT for one night only, you can't go wrong with that. You honestly cannot go wrong with that. But I'm very curious about this matchup. Again, we don't really know what the stipulation is. At this point, it could favor any one of these guys, but I gotta go with Apollo Crews based on the experience. Next up, we have a match for the NXT Women's title as Mandy Rose will defend against Alba Fire. This is actually Alba's, I believe, her first opportunity at the NXT Women's title since, I believe, if I have this right, no, I believe, if I have this right, since NXT Stand and Deliver earlier this year, back in April, which we saw Mandy Rose defeat Alba Fire, or I guess originally known as Kaylee Ray, Cora Jade, and Io Sky, or Shirai, by pinning Io to retain the NXT Women's title, which was a hell of a fight. But again, notice what I said, pinning Io Sky. That means Alba Fire was never pinned, neither was Cora. That means both Cora and Alba Fire are owed another shot at the NXT Women's title, but let's be real, there's no way in hell that Cora Jade is going to be champion. There is no shot. As long as Roxanne Perez is around, no shot. But I will be talking about that match here in just a bit. But this is basically a battle of current champion versus former champion. People forget, if you guys didn't know, or I'm fucking filming here. Can it wait? Guys, I apologize. I literally hate it when people interrupt me while I'm filming. Guys, I apologize. I apologize. Here, I'll do this to my mom. I'll do this to her. I'll do this just to make things easier and just to shut her up. There. I basically answered a question by texting her. She wanted to know if I ate. Yes, I did eat. If you guys didn't know, I had chicken. Just throwing that out there. She could have texted me while I was filming. But that being said, honestly, anyway, where was I? Right. Fire and Rose. For those who don't remember or must have forgot, when NXT UK was around, Alba Fire eliminated Xia Brookside to become the #1 contender for the NXT UK Women's title, which she earned, which she won the title back on NXT UK at Takeover Cardiff. Which if you guys did not watch that prediction video or that result video, I recommend you guys watch it because once you guys watch the results video, you guys will know how crazy it was. It was pretty nuts. But I gotta admit though, this was rather unique because Alba Fire is the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion of all time, and no person will ever be able to beat that. Mainly not just because of the fact that Mandy Rose became the last champion, became, I guess, the quote-unquote last NXT UK Women's Champion, but because of the fact that NXT UK is no longer around. And with NXT Europe coming up, you know, sometime next year, it's a possibility that Alba Fire could join NXT Europe, which is a possibility, but only time will tell. But let's not forget, Mandy Rose is now, I believe, the third longest reigning NXT Women's Champion in history. I believe Asuka is still ranked first all time with what 523 days, if I remember correctly. So obviously the odds are definitely stacked against Alba Fire, not just because of the fact that this is Mandy Rose we're talking about here, but it's also because of the fact that Mandy Rose has Sonya Deville and the rest of Toxic Attraction backing her up. So it's a matter of who wins. Honestly, don't get me wrong, as much as I would love to see Alba Fire become champion, I gotta go with Mandy Rose on this one. I'm just throwing that out there. Next up, we have an ambulance match between Damon Kemp and Diamond Mine's Julius Creed, where the stipulation is that if Damon Kemp wins, actually let me rephrase that. If Julius Creed loses, then his brother Brutus Lee is gone from NXT. Which, that puts a lot of pressure on Julius Creed, because he has to prove why Diamond Mine is forever. And don't get me wrong, I am on the side of Diamond Mine. Truly, I am. I am on the side of Diamond Mine on this one. But the fact that Damon Kemp was able to out-manipulate Roderick Strong and the rest of Diamond Mine proves that Damon Kemp is going to be a huge star in WWE someday, as long as he's able to, make Brutus Creed leave NXT, which is a possibility, but only time will tell. Only time will tell, but honestly, I think this is a matter of. It's a matter of how far Julius is going to go to take Damon Kemp straight to hell, basically. It's a matter of that, and I think, honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I don't think Julius Creed has that instinct necessary to defeat Damon Kemp and throw him into the back of that ambulance. I don't think he does, because of the fact that, yes, they are former NXT Tag Team Champions. There is no denying that. But Julius Creed has always had a tendency to become a bit of a hothead, if you will, in my honest opinion. And honestly, I think Damon, as much as I want to see Brutus Creed stay in NXT, I think Damon Kemp is going to be the one to defeat Julius Creed, and the reason being is because Julius Creed is so focused on protecting his brother. He doesn't have the instinct necessary to protect himself and defeat Damon Kemp, and I think Damon Kemp is going to be able to use that against Julius, and Damon Kemp is going to win. So that's just how I see it anyway. But that brings us to the next matchup: Weapons Wild. Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez. Obviously, you guys know last week, it was announced that both Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade was going to pick each other's poison for tonight. Roxanne Perez chose Raquel Rodriguez to be Cora Jade's opponent. And who chose? And guess who Cora Jade chose for Roxanne Perez? If you guys watched NXT earlier tonight, you know that it is Judgment Day's Rhea Ripley, which Roxanne Perez gave it her all tonight. It was a riptide. 1, 2, 3. Game over. But this is going to be interesting because obviously tonight we saw Roxanne Perez use that instinct against Cora Jade, but let's be honest, it's going to take a lot more than just a kendo stick to defeat to defeat Cora Jade, because Cora Jade may have her own kendo stick. Roxanne Perez needs to bring in tables, chairs, kendo sticks, tables I mentioned, trash cans, brass knucks. She's gonna have to bring out the heavy artillery to defeat Cora Jade. And if she wants another shot at the NXT Women's title, she's gonna have to send Cora Jade to a hospital to be able to pull it off. But honestly, I think it comes down to who's got a much more better instinct than the other, and Cora Jade does. She's got a much more better killer instinct, if you will, than Roxanne Perez, and I think that that's what will give Cora Jade the victory this Saturday at Halloween Havoc. But that brings us to the NXT title between the champion Braun Breaker and the challengers JD McDonough, and the man that had to relinquish the NXT UK title due to injury, Ilya Dragunov. I'm very excited for this one because Ilya Dragunov was a very dominant NXT UK champion since defeating Gunther for the title last year at NXT TakeOver 36, which was a hell of a card. I mean, guys, think about the card that took place at TakeOver 36 last year. We had Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov for the NXT UK title. We had Karrion Kross versus Samoa Joe for the NXT title. We had Raquel Rodriguez and, of course, Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's title. We had LA Knight and Cameron Grimes for the $1 Million title. We had Adam Cole, baby, and Kyle O'Reilly in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And, of course, Ridge Holland and Trey Baxter on the kickoff show. Come on, it was a hell of a card. It was a hell of a card. And getting to watch Gunther tap out to a sleeper of all things was insane. This is probably going to be the biggest match of Braun's career because the last time he was in a triple threat match, he lost the NXT title to Dolph Ziggler when it was a triple threat match between him, Ziggler, and Tommaso Ciampa. Breaker ended up regaining the title the night after WrestleMania on Raw, which was an awesome victory for Braun. But now he is going up against a former Cruiserweight champion and a former NXT UK champion in the form of JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov, originally known as Jordan Devlin, but let's be real, we all know what happens in WWE. But but I'm gonna be honest, I think the odds are definitely gonna be stacked against Breaker. But if you think about it, it's more stacked against McDonough than it is Breaker, because obviously both Breaker and Dragunov have one thing in common. They don't want McDonough as champion. So as long as they're able to isolate McDonough away from the match and they focus on each other, one of them could walk out as champion. But it comes down to who wants it more, and I think it's Dragunov. Dragunov has to win this match. Breaker is already at the point right now in NXT where he's already done what he set out to do when he first bursted on the scene in NXT. Right around this time last year, and he said that he was going to be NXT champion, and he achieved it not once but twice. So I think he's done. I think he's ready for the main roster, and I think this title has to go to Dragunov. If it doesn't go to Dragunov, and it goes to McDonough, I have no doubt in my mind that NXT is going to become a very interesting hellhole with McDonough as NXT champion. But with that being said, we do got to move on to the last match that we have on the card. And before we do, this brings us to the question of the day. Among the card as it sits now, because I don't think there will be more in the coming days, but the question of the day is this. Among the card as it sits now, who do you guys see walking out with the W? Let me know down in the comments below. And with that being said, the North American title was won by none other than Solo Sikoa when Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams attacked Wes Lee. Because of that, again, as I have mentioned, Solo Sikoa took over. He became champion. He defended the title against Madcap Moss on SmackDown that same week. The next week on NXT, Shawn Michaels told him, hey, you gotta give it up. You were not supposed to be in the match. You gotta give it up. So, a fatal 5-way ladder match takes place yet again, this time on Halloween Havoc. Hayes, it's Carmelo Hayes, Oro Mensah, originally known as Oliver Carter, Wesley, Von Wagner, and of course Nathan Frazer, originally known as Ben Carter, which I have talked about him on the channel. I think it was like sometime last year. If you guys have not checked out the video, I recommend you check it out. This dude, Frazer is a hell of a dude, trained by Seth Rollins. Maybe he could be the victor, but let's be honest here. Carmelo Hayes, he's already done. He's been seen a few times on WWE main event. There's no shot that he wins the title for a third time. I think he's done. I think he's ready for the main roster. So it comes down to Mensah, Wesley, Wagner, and Frazer. It comes down to those four, and I think it has to be Nathan Frazer. The reason being, it's not because of the fact that he was trained by Seth freaking Rollins, who is a ladder match veteran, but it's more so of the fact that when he was in NXT UK, he did not win a single title. He had opportunities at literally all of the men's gold in NXT UK. The NXT UK title, the tag team titles, and the Heritage Cup, which apparently, according to WWE.com, is still active. So we could see Noam Dar come back to WWE. But let's be real, he's not going to. He is too egotistical. He claims that the WWE mistreated him, especially when he was on 205 Live. That was the reason why he went to NXT UK in the first place, was because of that. But the reason why Frazer has to be champion is because he was able to defeat Axiom in the best of 3 series that they had, and he took Gunther to the limit, which I believe Gunther was. I believe Nathan Frazer was one of Gunther's last matches on NXT UK before he was able to jump ship over to NXT and then jump ship over to SmackDown and become Intercontinental Champion. So Frazer, he has a lot to prove, and I think this matchup might be the match that he proves it. So with that being said, those are my predictions. Let me know in the comments below. Again, question of the day: who do you guys see walking out with the W at Halloween Havoc? Post in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. And as always, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all my social media. Links will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.